I will now request Mr. C.S. Prasad, former DG CPWD and member of the Executive Committee of Indian Roads Congress, to give his views.
Namaskar. Honorable Chairman, Co-Chairman, President IRC, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. Few minutes earlier, there was a presentation given by RSF where it was mentioned, some photographs were shown of road accidents, and it was mentioned that those who have weak hearts, they should not see. I had seen it. I thought I am having a strong heart, but my heart has melted. I am feeling very emotional as far as road safety subject and issue is concerned. The DG MORTH in various deliberations during the IRC session has mentioned that this is the decade for road safety as well as decade for innovations. The first one being road safety, I would like to mention that I have personally experienced a number of road accidents during my lifetime. Once upon a time, I was traveling from Patna to Ranchi on a public transport bus, and a cyclist came and it was hit, and the person died on the spot. Such events keep on happening every minute, every second in the world. I think the duration of deliberation given to me is 5 minutes, and within 5 minutes, as I had seen some statistics, probably 50% in our countries, they are having the fatality for road accident. So every minute this road accident is taking place, and many lives, either the person is dying. If he has died, no problem. The problem is left with the people who are surviving. But if the person survives after accident, the life is further traumatic. I have met one of my maid servant's husband. He met one road accident, and thereafter he became handicapped. Side by side, his mind also, he had neurological problem. Recently I had gone to AIIMS, and I had gone to the cardiology section, and just by the side of that there was neurological section, and there was huge crowd, very huge crowd. Then when I came out from after showing to my doctor, cardiologist, then I inquired, what is the reason why so many neurologists? Then the compounder or the person who was outside from the hospital side, he said, sir, बहुत सारा रोड एक्सीडेंट होता है, रोड एक्सीडेंट के बाद आदमी बच तो जाता है, मगर उसका माइंड में न्यूरोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है, वो he is unable to further manage the challenges of life. So friends, it is very good that there has been clarion call given by the United Nations, and road safety has been given, which was the last chapter probably in the transportation book, has come in the forefront, and the entire world and India is also including that, and this particular IRC session of 2013 in Coimbatore is taking the vow to rise to the occasion and to ensure safe roads, particularly few steps taken by Mr. Mahali by setting up trauma center and managing the same at Salem city is laudable, Likewise, we must have at different locations trauma centers. One of the doctor of trauma center in Delhi, he was mentioning, rather he was showing the slides how accident took place on the flyover when the truck which was carrying the reinforcement bars that hit a car, and the car driver and his friend, both of them, they had the rebar pierced into their heart from this side to the other side, and the person was rescued, and finally he survived because this lead time which my friend Mahali has said, that lead time was reduced. Coming to the increasing the highway assets, friends, आप सबको मालूम है रेल की भाड़ा बढ़ गई है। रेल की कीमतों में बढ़त होने से मैं आप सबको सूचित करूं और अपने हाईवे इंजीनियर्स सभी को बताऊं कि जो अभी फ्रेट कैरेज एंड पैसेंजर कैरेज परसेंटेज वाज टू द एक्सटेंट ऑफ 65%, आई थिंक डेफिनेटली इट इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज टू 70 or 75%. Since more of traffic now will be coming to the roads, I think we have to have, wherever we have 2 lanes, we should have 4 lanes. Wherever we have 4 lanes, we should go for 6 lanes, depending upon the traffic intensity and density. Friends, being in CPWD, I was mainly seized with the building construction, but I also got opportunity to work hand in hand with Ministry of Road Transport, and I got the opportunity to construct National Highway 82-83 from Bodh Gaya to Rajgir, and the benefits the people got out of it, I will just mention how the benefit gets derived out of it. The tourism, which is the only industry left for Bihar now after separation of Jharkhand and Bihar, the tourism industry has suddenly got a big bounce, because people from foreigners and the Indian tourists from Delhi, they were coming to Varanasi, and from Varanasi 50% of the people were returning due to law and order problem in the Bihar, but 50% whosoever were traveling to Bodh Gaya, they were also returning back to Delhi. Nobody was coming to the Rajgir, which had been the main place where Rajgir and Nalanda, where Lord Buddha did his research and meditation in the inner engineering, for which yesterday evening we had a very good enlightening session. So that pious place of Rajgir and Nalanda got connected by road with a good rideability, and as a consequence of that, any tourist coming from Delhi to Bodh Gaya, he was in a position to move by road to Bodh Gaya and return by evening to Bodh Gaya, and then take a train or plane and return to their destination. So tourism has got boosted up. I will say the green revolution, white revolution, even white revolution, I think roads and highways have given a great boost in increasing the mobility, transportation for milk, and the entire India is having the benefit of it in form of good health for children and others. So friends, I also got an opportunity to construct Rashtriya Sam Vikas Yojana roads in Bihar and Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana in backward districts like Begusarai, Madhubani, Samastipur, Darbhanga, where remote areas there was no hospital facility, no education facility. All this has been connected. Just now I met one of a friend coming from Bihar, Madhubani. He said, now there is a good network of roads, and I will tell you that most of the traffic, instead of going to district roads and other roads, they are taking route on the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Yesterday, Mr. Vijay Kumar has spoken how PMGSY 2 has been launched. So we welcome new projects. Let IRC 2013 have great hopes, because 12th 5-year plan has set in with the capital outlay of $1 trillion, out of which only $500 trillion is available with us, and rest is to be managed by PPP. I am told that PPP offers bids are not becoming successful, and for that probably EPC contracts are being given as a public procurement policy. More emphasis on EPC contracts. I hope and trust that NHAI and other road construction agencies will build more of the roads for further taking progress of our country to its zenith. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad. Now I will request Professor A. Veeraraghavan to give his views.
Thank you, Chairman and distinguished panelists. So it was a pleasant surprise for me when my name was called to be serving at the dais. But as teachers, we are prepared to talk on any subject at any time. So I could assemble, thanks that there were 8 people before me, I could assemble some points. I thought that these are the issues that may be considered by the agencies, concerned agencies, to take it forward. So the topic of the panel discussion is challenges, constraints, and strengths, way forward in highway assets, enhancing values of road sector, and enhancing the safety of the road users. So when I try to assemble the various challenges, I would like to break my presentation into different parts of challenges, constraints, strengths, and way forward. I am not here to share my experiences because time is limited. I am aware that there are 7 more panelists waiting to talk. I will not take more than 5 minutes. The challenges before us, we are in the crossroads now. The challenge before us is whether to create more and more assets or to preserve the already created asset. What I mean here is that out of the 41 lakh kilometers of roads in the country that we have today, the national highways constitute only 71,772 kilometers. Out of that, NHDP constitute to 49,260 kilometers. So the question now is that should I convert my single lane, intermediate lane, national highways into 2 lane, 2 lane to 4 lane, 4 lane to 6 lane, or take up the other district roads which constitute nearly 26 lakh kilometers, 36 lakh kilometers. Whether to construct more and more national highways or provide connectivity to the villages. That's a real challenge. When you look back, I think it's some time that we look at America and learn from the lessons that mistakes that they have made. If you go to American Society of Civil Engineers website and see, the quality of roads infrastructure in USA today is D. So I think that it's time that we wake up now, understand the problem which America faced, so that 30 years down the line, let not the people who come as juniors who will take up these assets know that we have created an asset which they cannot be maintained. So the first challenge is to construct or not to construct. Second challenge is that whether to invest more and more on national highways or improve the connectivity through more other district roads and rural roads. Third, are the roads that we are creating now through these projects, are they safe? Have we done a mistake? If something has to be done to make the road safe, I think it's time that we have a relook at the design aspects and make these roads safer, because whatever we have following as per the specifications of other countries may not be workable in Indian context, because our traffic behavior, mixed traffic environment is different. So we need differences in geometrics. I think the challenge before us is how to design safe roads. The next challenge before us is that are our roads environmental friendly? Are we constructing green highways? So if someone is proposing a green highway, environmental friendly highway, how are we avoiding the work? Do we give a weightages to that? That's something that's a real challenge that we have to look forward. And the last challenge, I think, is that how are you going to preserve the road assets? So prevention is better than cure. Maintenance plays a very important role. So when you look at the challenges before us, we should understand that time is money. A road asset, the drops in the quality. The initial 40% drop in the quality occurs in 70% of the time. and the next 40% drop in the quality occurs in 12% of the time. If I maintain the road when the road is good or fair, if I spend a rupee, when the road condition becomes poor to very poor, I have to spend 4 to 5 times. So if because citing the reason that funds are not available, if we delay the work, maintenance work, we have to spend much more. In other words, we will be able to maintain lesser and lesser kilometer of roads with available as money if we delay the work more. If so, how do you preserve? There are several issues and challenges here. The constraints here, as I mentioned yesterday, is the non-availability of aggregates. We require 150 million cubic meter of aggregates. So how are we going to preserve these, take this constraint into picture? Solutions is not very difficult. We can go in for stabilization. I can go in for recycling. I can go in for alternate design. So in other words, if you want to take up this challenge with the constraint of non-availability of aggregates, then it's time that we look at alternate materials, alternate designs, alternate construction maintenance practices. The constraint here is that specifications. Any new material that you want to introduce, we need a specification. So again, it goes through IRCs. There's a delay, some specifications are not available. Even though on paper we permit internal best specifications, we do have constraints of implementing it on ground. So the other issue that challenges or constraint that we have is that we do not have information on the performance of these roads that we have constructed. In other words, data is a real constraint. As far as strength is concerned, I think we do have the expertise. 12 years down the line, after 12 years, all our engineers have more and more knowledge and expertise. We do have the modern equipment. There are institutions of national importance which have got experts who can help in this sense. So I think we have to make use of the strength that is available in the country to take it forward. And if you take it forward, the points which I want to put before you is that we have to make it mandatory stabilization of all soils so that I can reduce the crust thickness. Number 2, if we want to conserve the assets, we have to make it mandatory recycling to be adopted. It can be a full depth reclamation, it can be a recycling of the bituminous layer. There is no choice, it has to be made mandatory. The third issue is that research pays off. We need to fund research. I think the Ministry of Road Transport Highways should also follow the footsteps of NRRDA. NRDA has started funding research projects, taking up new materials, developing new specifications, collecting the performance data. I wish that Ministry of Road Transport Highways also fund research so that the research will pay off in the years to come. And lastly but not the least, the IRC codes and specifications, I feel that when you look at the number of engineers who are members of IRC, only 15,000 engineers are members of IRC as on date. We have got a huge manpower of engineers. So we have to update them with the latest developments. I feel that when you have used public money for developing codes, specifications, publications, IRC should make all the publications available online to all the engineers so that they will keep updated the knowledge, and this knowledge will help them to construct and maintain the assets in the years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Veeraraghavan. Now I'll request Mr. Kyoshi Dachiku to give his views.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For the past 40 years, I've been with Japanese Highway Authority. 40 years. You may not believe, but the roads in Japan are one of the worst in the world. Because in Japan, until the last war, Japan relied on railway traffic and marine traffic. But after the war, Japanese people realized that good road system can sustain the development, economic development. So they decided to improve it by borrowing money from World Bank. World Bank dispatched a survey team and gave us very shocking statement. That is, roads in Japan are incredibly bad. No other industrial nation has so completely ignored its road system. This statement, very shocking statement, changed the mindset of Japanese people. What they did, firstly, they established the principle of beneficiary pay for roads. Roads have to be supported, financially supported by the beneficiaries. Firstly, 100% of vehicle fuel tax was designated for road development, 100%. And also vehicle purchase tax, also automobile tax, also they are also designated for road development. And 40 years ago, Japan introduced a very new system that is very common here in India, that is toll road system. So with toll road system and the 100% fair tax, now you see that Japanese road system is reputed as one of the best in the world. I have been with these activities for the past 40 years. And 4 years ago, I was sent to India based on the agreement between two governments, India and Japan, to share my knowledge with Indian highway engineers. For the past 2 years, I stayed at Training Institute of Ministry of Road Transport Highways and developed guidelines for expressways and textbook for advanced highways. And next 2 years, I was shifted to NHAI, head office in Dwarka, New Delhi, as an advisor. So now talking about the road safety, can you believe that 40 years ago, Japanese roads were dangerous in the world? About 30,000 people were killed on Japanese roads. The population of Japan is about 10 times smaller than India. So if you convert to Indian population, that is 3 lakh people used to be killed on roads in Japan. Main reasons, because of the poor road system. Japanese highway engineers did everything to improve their road system, but the road system couldn't catch up with the economic development. That bad road system killed so many people. But then introduced a series of road safety programs. There are some interesting features in those road safety programs conducted in Japan. One is collaboration, very good collaboration between road sector and traffic police. Police have a very good science research institute, and they have a lot of analysis and data there. And also roadside have good data system, mainly for the geometry and alignment of those road components. They mix and produce very good results. Now you see the accident rate, death toll on Japanese road system is only 4,000 people annually. It became 10 times lower than 40 years ago. From the roadside, I have to mention that what did to decrease the road accident there in Japan. One is separation of traffic. Biggest features of Indian road traffic is mixed traffic. High-speed vehicles sharing with cycle, auto rickshaw, and pedestrians. In Japan, was used to be like that. and created expressways for high-speed traffic, and created pedestrian paths and pedestrian crossing, pedestrian footbridge, and also provided cyclist roads. Those separation of traffic, in my opinion, have worked very, very good to reduce the traffic accident. And next one is providing the appropriate warnings from the Japanese statistics. This happened to be very similar to Indian statistics as well. 70% of road accidents is caused by drivers failing to notice. So if we give appropriate warnings to the drivers, we can reduce the traffic accident drastically. So did Japanese engineers. And I'm here to share my experience and knowledge with Indian engineers. And I'm always welcome you to contact me if you have anything interested in the Japanese experience and knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kiyoshi Dachigo. I will now request Mr. D.B. Deshpande to give his views.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, President IRC, and my colleagues over here in this August gathering. At the outset, I would like to congratulate IRC for taking up the SWOT analysis of the road sector assets in our country. This is the right time to do so, because coming 2 or 3 decades are for infrastructure development in India, and we must analyze the strength, weakness, opportunity and threats of our road sector. Coming to the strength, I find that since sky is the limit for road development in India, we can incorporate all sorts of innovations and appurtenances or whatever are the requirements to make roads really safe and effective. The greatest strength is the skilled and highly educated, intelligent managerial power in India. As it is said, with due respect to my colleagues from other countries, that an average Indian is more intelligent than others. So that is the greatest asset, human resource asset to us available. The weakness, as I see, is the cost and time overrun on all our major projects. It's an eyesore and constant atom of criticism, not only in the media or government, but every citizen is not happy over that. The work culture has not arrived in India so far. This is a major weakness. For example, safety of workers and safety on the road sites is not given due respect so far. Still we find sometimes workers working without gumboots and hand gloves. And safety measures are also not sufficient. There was an idea when I was Secretary to Government, I floated that there should be Commissioner of Safety for highway works, like Commissioner of Safety which is there for railways. I don't know what has happened after that. To give an example, when in this campus we were moving exactly opposite this hall, myself and my wife. I came across one structure, steel stanchion somebody has raised, and I was protecting my wife's head and she was protecting my head because it was so close to us and no indicator was shown there, even a red flag was not there. I then advised the promoters there that at least you provide something here. So this such work culture has to chalta hai attitude should stop. This is the real weakness. Untrained worker on our construction industry is a chronic problem, and this must be taken care of immediately. Then only we will get good quality work. The cutting edge level worker should also know why he is doing this in broad sense, so he can give a good product. Opportunities, yes. Since I am the RTI Commissioner, State Information Commissioner of Maharashtra Commission, I find that since the introduction of RTI Act 2005, the transparency in everything what we do will be coming up in future, and this is the greatest opportunity. The transparency, in my opinion, is the real solution to all issues and all problems. So far as the things were not coming in open, now forget about the auditors and others. Every citizen is auditor, and he can get any paper related to any construction work, highways. Even public-private partnership papers can also be disclosed to limited extent. So whatever we are doing, we should be fully aware of the consequences, and the cost and time overrun will not be accepted by our brethren in future. The threats, surprisingly, we had good road development, especially national highways in last decade, but the major threat is now number of toll stations across this length and breadth of these highways. People are now talking against the collection of tolls at so many stations. Moreover, in spite of a mention in the concession agreement that the detention period of vehicle at toll station should not be more than a minute or so, the vehicles are required to are detained there for 5 to 10 minutes to pay toll. So, if this aversion develops in the citizens to pay toll, then the public-private partnership will be in trouble. Unawareness in road users is another major threat for road development. I give you the classic example of Mumbai-Pune Expressway when it was commissioned. We thought that since all the geometrics are as per international standards, there will be no accidents. But to our surprise, every kilometer had accident, every season had accident, every hour we had accident. Why for? Because people simply don't follow the guidelines or signages given on the highways. One lady was driving Mercedes in 2004 with a speed of 140. Our traffic police over expressway stopped that lady chasing in old vehicles, old vans, and requested her that, madam, see the signage here in the Borghat is that you should go by 40, 60 km per hour, elsewhere by 80 km, 100 km per hour, even though it is designed at 120 km per hour. She said, I have purchased the Mercedes not for driving at 80 km, and she went ahead with again 140 km. So this is the state of affairs. So this awareness is absolutely important. So I find these police officials who are doing excellent work here, such type of work should be repeated all over India voluntarily. So there are many points, but I was informed half an hour before the session that I will be on the panel. So whatever I could collect from my experience and memory, I have not jotted down regarding this SWOT analysis. There may be many more issues we can discuss, but time is also very short. As far as assets are concerned, the road asset means normally the right of way is neglected. And I was imagining that if we have a 33 lakh or so kilometer road length all over India, and the carriageway is a small portion out of that, unattended portion on both the sides in the right of way, area is so large. And you will be surprised, it is 30,000 square kilometer. That area within the right of way or all entire road length of India is more than any normal state of India, and that is unattended. When I was President IRC, in my 2009 presidential address at Patna, I suggested government that we must take care of this land, otherwise it will be encroached and it will be misused, and then we left with no land. So when we talk about the asset management, we should first of all we address to the right of way available and do something for that. As I told you, transparency will be the key and most favored word in the coming years, and whatever we do, once done is the best done policy, and it can be open to scrutiny any time. And since this is an opportunity, I find it as opportunity because then the best will come out of every individual, whatever he will be doing on drawing board or on file or at site. You will be aware, you are aware that even inspection of sites is also made available under the RTI Act. So some of the senior citizens who are retired from government service can volunteer themselves and visit the sites to check up the quality and other things as independent volunteers in the right interest of work. The road accident phenomena is very unique in India. My experience shows that if the road is good, better or best, number of accidents are more. And if your road is bad, number of accidents are less. So statistics show that on our village road or pothole-free roads or crooked road, the accidents are less because driver is very careful. On expressway and highways, he gets a football ground to play, so he will drive at his speed. So self-constraint is the only solution, or self-restraint is the only solution for this. The expressway analysis shows that 75% accident takes place because of human error, has taken place because of human error, 23% because of mechanical fault. Still in India, in this century, bogus spare parts are also sold in open market. So even the truckers, truck owner, everybody should be educated to take authenticated spare parts and use that. It will be not appropriate for us to expect somebody doing policing on us. Time has gone, 60 years after independence. So the best way to avoid accidents or reduce accidents is to educate, as our police brothers are doing rightly, voluntarily, from the schooling level, and while driving, take care. One of my brigadier friend who was in charge of the expressway patrolling from our side, government side, says that suicide is something different, but by taking a vehicle, if somebody kills other people, it is as good as murder. So it should be treated as murder, and the appropriate causes should be slapped on that. He kills himself and kills others also. So lastly, as our friend from Japan has rightly said, separation of traffic is essential to drastically reduce the accidents. But our country is rich in all aspects, material and spiritual, so in population. We have to take care of 120 crore plus population. So from that social point of view, we have to look at this issue. And when I was secretary, I used to get some underpasses and footbridges and footpath approved under the head social engineering, cost of social engineering. Otherwise, finance, planning department to say, no, per kilometer cost is going up. Why do you do this? Why do you need subway? You can do it afterward. You can defer it. I said, okay, as per your norm, this is the cost of engineering cost of the project, and this is the social engineering cost. If you want people to die, I will not take any blame. Ball is in your court. But for footbridges, overbridges, underpasses, cattle crossing, this is the cost. You separately approve it. So DG is here, so Director General, you can take a note and suggest government that since we are government of Maharashtra, as well as, all state government and government of India is for the people, pro people, some head should be created for such items, social engineering items, and we should sanction those. I think I could gather from my memory this much only, and I am given only 5 minutes, but I will be happy to share my experience in you any time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Deshpande. I will now request Mr. S.M. Ramchandani, Secretary NRRDA, to give his views.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Co-Chairman, President IRC, my co-panelists on the dais, other dignitaries of the dais, and fellow delegates, all those present in this august gathering. I request a correction. I am from MSRDC, Government of Maharashtra, and a Joint Managing Director there. Most of the points that my co-panelists, chairman and co-chairman, already covered, but I would first say that it's a matter of great satisfaction that IRC has been focusing this year on road safety and innovative approaches to avoid accidents on our very vast network of highways of various categories. Now, loss of a bread earner or a very person who is so dear to us is really very pinching for any family. Getting involved in an accident is really a great trauma for the entire family, but then these are increasing every day. The expressway that we constructed between Pune and Mumbai, as was rightly pointed out just now, a large number of accidents and ever increasing number of accidents are being experienced on this road, and the number of accidents is so very enormous that the cost of each accident, if you try to calculate, would lead to almost the total maintenance budget that we spend on our maintenance of our roads. Even if we consider that one person earns around 20,000 rupees a month, and the number of lives that we are losing on our roads, if we add up the cost, that cost is really tremendous. Now, what we as engineers responsible for maintenance of the large network of roads of various categories can do is to minimize the maintenance period by mechanical methods. The second thing that we can do is the identification of a black spot, that various committees and various forums are doing it. The improvement of all these black spots can be done in the least possible time, so that the identification and actual rectification, they are not in different decades. We identify something in a particular year and don't rectify it for a number of years, and in the meantime a number of accidents take place. The third thing that we can do is construction of a bypass around the towns, as is being now the guidelines are issued and everything is in place. So constructing these bypass, even at the cost of acquiring land through private negotiation, could also help reduce a large number of pedestrians getting involved in the accidents in a particular town. and improvement of curves and junctions, that is the geometrical improvement on our roads. That is what we can do much faster, so as to, instead of adding additional length to our network, we can improve the existing network on priority, and that's how we can make the roads safer for our road users. Now we have got roads divided into small sections under various junior engineers and sectional engineers who are looking after these maintenance activities and other things. If we can have a policy or a program where a person responsible for maintenance of a particular section does maintain it pothole free, and we can reward his efforts if he can ensure no accidents in particular section because of the non-maintenance or the delay in maintenance of a particular section, then I think this incentive can prove quite encouraging for the engineers that are working in the field, and they can actually provide better roads, well-maintained roads, in view of their appreciation by the authorities for their efforts. Now, accident is an accident if it occurs once in a while, maybe once in a year, once in a month, something like that. If it happening every 4 minutes we are losing a life, it cannot be called an accident. It is something like we disregard what is happening on our roads is okay. Sab chalta hai attitude. That type of an attitude we'll have to see that all our field engineers are guided to see that that doesn't happen in the section in which he is responsible for maintenance. Because of lack of attention, the things will not be allowed to be accident prone in a particular section. Now, construction of these foot over bridges, underpasses and all these things is being stressed. That's really good. In one particular road, when we went ahead with the proposal of construction of a foot over bridge, 10 foot over bridge in a very busy section of a road connecting two national highways, we invited tenders twice. We didn't get any response because it was on BOT basis. Now, this cost of this project of constructing these 10 foot over bridges is in the range of 20 to 25 crores. Now, in the process of inviting a tender, in the process of trying to find out somebody who will budget, who will actually fund it and then get his returns through advertisement rights or something like that, is that way much less as compared to the number of lives that we lost in between this during the entire process of this. So this is what we can think of. We can really provide budget for such activities on a higher side so that we can avoid these accidents. On the expressway, when we are trying to contain the number of accidents, we have already come up with speed guns, breath analyzers and ambulances stationed at regular interval so as to see that the accident victims are really taken to the nearest hospital in the smallest possible time. We have now recently awarded one particular BOT contract in which a trauma care center is being developed on the expressway with a helipad facility, so that the accident victim can be really given that facility to get transported to the nearest high-end hospital in case some air ambulance can be operated from that helipad. Now, we are presently now dealing with these challenges and constraints for road safety. We are now being faced with one new challenge of suicidal tendencies of people who are using a particular newly developed facility. Like our Bandra-Worli sea link, we find people stop, the pedestrians run and then just try to jump over the bridge into the sea. Now, this is another new challenge where the safety of the pedestrians and the safety of the user. He stops, the following vehicle doesn't know that he is going to stop where the stopping has been actually prohibited, and he meets with an accident. The person has got a suicidal tendency. He stops on the busy road, on a high speed road, and creates complication for other things, other users. That is how a new challenge that we are facing is. This also we are trying to address in the best possible manner. How best we will be able to do it, that time will only tell. But the loss of time at the toll station was also pointed out just now. by Mr. Deshpande. We have now come up with the facility of RFID, so that the identification of the vehicle from a distance is possible at a toll station, and if he has already paid in advance, then he is allowed to go non-stop through some dedicated lane. That is how we have been trying to surmount some of the difficulties, so that the road user doesn't lose time, and after having lost time at the toll station, he doesn't unnecessarily hurry up on the remaining stage of his journey. So I express my views, and because most of the things have been covered by other speakers, I thank the IRC for having given me the opportunity to share my views with you. Thank you.
I thank you, Mr. Ramchandani. I will request Mr. S.K. Puri now to give his views.
Thank you, Chairman, sir, fellow delegates. I think road safety is such a subject. Whatever you think that I will be speaking on that, already the panelists have covered that. So instead of repeating all those things, in my capacity as ambassador to International Road Federation, I will just share with you some of the thought process and what the International Road Federation India chapter is doing for road safety. You see, what exactly, as far as IRC is concerned, IRC and its members have been, of course, constructing safe roads. They have been busy in developing the codes, manuals, guidelines within IRC for safe roads. But in the last 10-15 years, the pace of mechanization on our highways and road work has been so fast that maybe we have not been able to keep pace with that. And the second is the funding part. Suddenly the road capacity has shrunk, and we have started that widening is to be done. So either within the city areas, we are eating away with the cycle tracks if they were ever there, or the pedestrian footpath. Similarly, on national highways, we are eating away for widening purposes. And just that within the limited funds available, we have to construct that much length of the road. Maybe the casualty is the underpass or the flyover or the service road. Now, we have to identify the reasons for the accidents when they happen and to reduce that accidents. IRF has come out with a radar which at the moment as pilot project, Delhi Police has started using it to districts, and similarly we are working in Africa, in Addis Ababa. The traffic police in 2 districts they have started, wherein all the data are captured electronically, and it can be used by various stakeholders, whether it is the authorities, the police department, the insurance people, the engineering department. As far as IRC is concerned, one very important thing I would like to say, road safety. You see, we are talking in Indian scenario, wherein overloading is one issue, which also somehow, in one way or the other, endangers the safety of the road user. For road construction, we have come out with a vehicle damage factor. For bridges and structures, we could not directly do anything. We came out with a congestion factor, wherein we were designing the structures and bridges for working stress method, wherein we used to have some 25 to 30% reserve strength of the structure. Now we have come up with a limit state design, wherein that reserve strength is no more available with the structure. And with the PPP mode, when all these projects which are being taken up, I would like to request our fraternity that we have to be very careful and we have to think about it, that how this overloading of the vehicles, when the structure does not have any reserve strength, when the new structures will be constructed by limit state method, how to cater for that. So there's a very big question mark, and the concerned technical committees in IRC, and I'll request Secretary General IRC also to kindly look into the thing, that how this can be taken care of from safety consideration. We have in IRF prepared some 5 films like Ehsaas or so. We have distributed to various states, and if anybody interested, we have a website. We can contribute to any authorities in cooperating to enhance the road safety or capacity building in that. We are already working with Indian Air Force in this direction. With that, I will say thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Puri. I will request Mr. S.K. Mehta to give his views.
Hello. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity at this August forum to say something about my experience about the enhanced value of road sector assets and enhanced safety of road users. You see, as my experience, I had been around Delhi for around 50 years and had intense experience of the system of roads. Mainly the road assets life can be increased by one major that is the greatest factor, that is drainage of roads. I am surprised that Gurgaon, my city where I lived for the last 15 years, that could not copy in the adjoining NDMC or even Noida. There we had been facing problems of waterlogging, spoiling the roads every year, not learning. It's not the question of only Gurgaon. Probably most of the cities, municipal system is not really doing adequate work on this. This is extremely important, because if you do not provide drainage, then how the roads will sustain? Every year you will be having potholes. Public will be cursing government, municipalities. So once some superintendent engineer of FUDA was asking me, Mr. Mehta, you suggest something. There is only one suggestion. You only clear sanction your road carpeting estimates after you have provided adequate necessary drainage system. We had been discussing roads formation, different microscopic details of roads. But probably this forum, IRC forums, we have not paid really adequate attention on how to be update on drainage system, sir. Drainage is extremely important. So I want to highlight this here. And number 2, as I have been pointing out, I've given few lines in the particular IRC session that we had been talking now about 1 crore, 1 lakh crore. This is a common term in Indian politics system. We are doing work 50 lakh crore, and there is not even a single ITI in the entire country from north to south, east to west. It is really, I do not have any words to describe it. I told that forum, and after that I was following NITI and ITHIE on this near Noida, and they were helpless. They were not doing anything. I was following their principal or director. They could not do anything. Then I was tired totally. Let the system is as it is going, let it go like this. Number 3, we come to potholes. Potholes, this is a thing where some seriousness is required. Nothing else is required. If municipalities are serious, there will be no potholes, or there will be minimum potholes. For that also, NDMC, though I may be quoting it again, that because I belong to NDMC, I had been in NDMC, we had almost pothole-free city roads that can be copied. because we have regular centers to take care. As again, I had to come to Gurgaon. Huda does not have any such system. A lot of municipalities may not be having regular service centers. We follow CPWD pattern. I mean, CPWD has been doing enormous good work, but it has to be followed. Somebody has to tell the municipalities, oh Baba, come to Raleigh, see there, do something serious about it. Why you cannot do? So you have to do it. Some ITIs have to be made. The fourth important thing is that there is absolutely, we are going, sir, with zero planning about increasing the road width, right of way. Roads, vehicles are increasing every day on the roads. They are guzzling from just like from the factories. And road width is the same. There had to be serious planning, determined effort, and municipalities, there is nobody to ask them what they are doing. Even in the smallest towns now having jams. जैसे मैं अभी हरिद्वार में था, I was reading in a newspaper, जाम तो अब हो गया आम. So that is becoming the story of every day. It is possible to eliminate this. Simply there had to be planning, there has to be ministry to twist the ears of the municipalities. There is no ministry, there is no time to anybody. Where we will go, sir? This is, here we have to really think about it. We are simply coming, just doing microscopic things. That is very, very good. But this is the broad aspect of it. We have to consider it. It is extremely serious. It is, we are going to be in a fatal condition. You just see the difference. I mean, some citizens could make the MRC. Now airport metro was made by Reliance. It has fallen somewhere. So these all cities where we are now prompting these metros, they have to see that they do not fall trap like this airport metro. So these are serious concerns which has to be seen. And lastly, I'll request that this IOC, BPC, HPC should be made part of our IRC. We should call them. I will probably next time request this IRC forum to call them. In the last 3 months, they have increased prices of bitumen by 25%. Since independence, it was 32,000 rupees per ton. Now, in the last 2 months, it is now 43,000 rupees. I am sure it will affect the roads, the speed of the road construction, the quality of the road construction. So this is all. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. I am glad that this panel discussion has evoked a lot of interest and response. There are a number of responses from the floor, and I will try to answer them quickly because we are running short of time, and another meeting has been scheduled, and I will go through them, and all these things, all your views and all the views of the panelists will take into account, and we'll try to improve our policies and guidelines. Now, Mr. K.S.K. Reddy from Karnataka State Highways Improvement Project has addressed this query to Dr. Mohalli about he is inquiring whether they have any breakup analysis for the reasons attributable to overspeeding, driver negligence and all that. And Dr. Mohalli has said that yes, they have it in the presentation. He couldn't show it because of the time shortage, and I presume this presentations will be made available on IRC's web page, and we'll make the details will be available to the Mr. K.S.K. Reddy. Another comment slip from Mr. S.S. Bhaskaran, Highways Department, Chennai. In national highways, service roads were formed, but the service roads in certain places are used for other purposes like drying agricultural products and all that, parking of trucks, and the highway patrol doesn't have the proper empowerment, and they rely on the police. So the suggestion is that the highway patrol should be empowered to deal with such problems, and probably we should have a sort of railway protection force. We should have a protection force. Yeah, one attempt was made by NHA in one of the states to have Central Industrial Security Force, but because the policing is a state subject, that was not preferred by the states, so it was dropped. Maybe we'll have to reconsider, or in case somebody else wants to come up with a solution, they can send it to your secretariat. We'll consider that. Mr. Virendra Kohl from Ministry. In urban limits, speed limits order, enforcing agencies need to implement it strictly. Yes, enforcement is a major issue. Second thing, what he says is junctions are and at most vulnerable locations, rumble strips should be provided. So, Ministry has also come up with a policy wherever black spots are there, we'll have transverse bar rumblers. Third thing is we should enforce lane driving discipline, again enforcement, proper bus bays and bus stops. Yes, that also we are coming up with a policy circular, REST, which there was a presentation in this ERC session. We will have that test reaches with new materials, emerging materials, which will be converted into rest and other facilities there. It can be bus bay also, bus stop also. Yep. Another comment from Mr. Birendra Kumar of RCD, Bihar. He says it is on paper number long and strengthening of highway. It appears that it is for some other session. It is on some paper. The paper should be about strengthening the needs to make safety of road vehicles a better way. Anyway, we'll check up from those people, and then we'll try to take that comment also into account. Mr. A.K. Srivastava from UPPWD. Widening of road is guided by PCUs, but what he says is the accidents occurring there should also be kept in view, not only the PCUs. So he suggests IRC should include this factor also in addition to PCU. Maybe it has to, we may have to think on it, and then he has a valid point. We'll think about it. Mr. Kaushik Banerjee from PWD, Government of West Bengal. He says it is time for introspection, and instead of demand-centric planning and engineering, we should go for user-centric planning and engineering. We should focus on users. That is the IRC also has made that decision, and in this session, that resolution of the executive committee is instead of roads for vehicles only, IRC will go for roads for people, safety and services. I think that user-centric is captured in that. He is also saying that instead of any quick fix, ad hoc solutions, IRC should extend financial support for research in this direction in different universities and areas. IRC and Ministry will go for this, and then IRC already have some pilot projects, and then we will see. We will try to rope in the industry and the stakeholders also, so that there is wider the users and stakeholders requirements and views are also captured. Mr. Shri Raj from UP State Highways Authority. He is highlighting the night safety requirements. How can we then second is how can we control mixed use and unregistered vehicles, night traffic, about the glare. And then he is also highlighting that the old vehicles or many vehicles are not having the backlight, caution lights. We have to enforce these things. Yes, we will do that. Mr. Santosh Kumar, Tamil Nadu Police Traffic Warden. Yes. he says to concentrate over providing the subways on the highways to avoid people jumping from traffic island. He wants our opinion. As part of the pilot projects of IRC, we are considering different ways of providing pedestrian subways. One is underground crossing with shops under the road, so that the people feel safe even during night, late evenings. I'll say late evenings, because shopkeepers are there. They can safely cross over. That is one aspect. Second aspect is these shops can finance at least part finance the subways. Another thing is to go for foot over bridges, again with advertisement based, or in case if advertisement based are not possible, as it was pointed out by one of the panelists, maybe we'll have to find out some other way of real estate development over the road. When we have a pedestrian crossing over that, probably we can have some other building. As one of the expert talks yesterday evening, even a bridge can have further buildings over that. Second thing what he is mentioning is there are no road markings on the corners of domestic roads. We should have at all intersections, crossroads, side roads, and even on our all pavement markings should be there. We are trying to do that. That's one of the cheapest interventions we can do. So we'll try to put the road markings, pavement markings wherever required. Third is not doing frequent underground rework that damages good roads. So we have to coordinate with the different departments, and we are lacking, we are failing in that. But then probably in the years to come, that coordination will be there with the different service departments and then this will not happen. Fourth one is in signal light, amber light for slow down, but why we take it as to get ready? Yes, we have to address that. The awareness should be there, the purpose of the amber light. Fifth is barricading to be laid in pedestrian paths to control people driving the vehicle on pedestrian path. We will attempt that also. When we provide an exclusive pathway for the pedestrian, we should discourage and then prevent also the people, the other two-wheelers and others to drive on it. Mr. H.N. Jha has mentioned population. In his opinion, population is the most dangerous problem. Yes, but then we will have to consider that also. And as he says, we should take lessons from China, where the problem has been solved. Yes, we will take all expert views, all experience from India and abroad also, when we come up with our policies and guidelines. Mr. Angam Kumar Sarma, Road Construction Department, Bihar, Patna. He has given a very, very, very detailed comments on 2 pages. The focus is, he says, we can't just blame the road users. We have to coordinate with the different departments, law enforcement departments, licensing department. Yes, we are trying to attempt that, and probably the road safety board, when it comes up, all these functions will be better coordinated. He is also mentioning of the problem of modern vehicles which are very fast, and licensing to be strengthened and all that. All these comments will take into account. There is one more, Mr. J.G. Mahale from MSRDC. Road signs should be provided. Yes, we will provide them. And with maximum of 4 words, road is not the place to educate the people. Okay, there shall not be the message like somebody waiting at home. Okay, whatever appropriate signages, we'll keep them. I am thankful for all the comments and then the comments of the panelists. Now I will request my co-chair to give his remarks.
Wouldn't suggest 2 points?
Sorry, we don't have time. You can send your comments. We'll take them into account.
2 points alone, sir.
So let him finish.
I'll just
We'll
finish.
send.
We had a very lively presentation from the 13 panelists and lot of questions which have been answered beautifully by chairman. Mr. Kandaswamy and Mr. P.N. Jain President gave us an insight of what is happening in the RCC and what IRC and government is doing to improve the road safety. And the plan is for the better future of the Indians, better future of the roads, in the safety of the all people at record. Mr. Philip Jowder talked mainly about the safe roads. Safe roads and what's happening in the Indonesia. His big point was that 3% of the GDP goes waste in the accident. If we spend a part of it, will be increase the road safety at a large extent. Mr. G. Saran gave a concept that road belongs to the all and all should coexist. And we should analyze, as an engineer, we should analyze what is happening and why it is happening, why the pedestrians are more very vulnerable, and road signages, traffic calming devices should form a part of it. Shri K.C. Mahali, IPS Commissioner Police Salem, gave a very good concept of the golden hour, the crucial time and the critical time to the trauma or the trauma care. And what is the 44% are the motorists? Yes. What has happened if I analyze it? Government of India has encouraged the motor vehicles production, especially from the point of view that revenue excise duty is being generated by them, motor vehicles. But we could not face. None of the money which was earned by the motor vehicle production is getting transferred directly to the MORTS or any other agency, whereas in the other parts of the world there is a direct transfer of the resource. If this thing is taken care of, both can work simultaneously. There will be good roads also available. Mr. C.S. Prasad talked about his experiences and with the road construction, how the value addition of the life of the local people because of that increase in tourism has increased. Professor A. V. Raghavan talked about the USA roads. I disagree with him. The USA has constructed the roads. It was a strategic importance. It was a decision taken by then John F. Kennedy President as a strategic importance to counterbalance Trans-Siberian rail network being constructed by the Russia as a strategic importance. Today they are going parallelly. They have given most of the time the road construction. Now they are going for the fast trains also, with the China has brought. But the roads cannot be left behind. Both have to work together in tandem with each other. Mr. Kiyoshi Dakchi talked about from JICA talked about his 40-year experience with the Japan Highway Authority and how earlier Japan ignored the roads. That's what we had done, and they had to come up with a solution. That's what we are doing it now. We are learning late. Mr. Deshpande talked about the SWOT analysis and the RTI, right to information, which is bringing about the changes in all governance aspect of the road construction, road maintenance, road tendering and other things. And he talked about the right of way available should be made available. Yes, we should try to get it on not only on record physically with us. Shri S.M. Ramchandran talked about the improvement in the maintenance and mechanization and planning, road maintenance systems and reward systems. Yes, reward systems should also be considered. This should be one of the points which not IRC, MORTS should look into. He talked about the FOBs. FOBs have been a failure in Delhi, especially the underpasses. There has been a second thought that because the public prefers a lot to cross the road on the grade. First option is at grade crossing of the road. Second option should be the FOB or underpass. Underpass can be partially underpass and partially over the ground. The road geometry should be adjusted accordingly. Mr. S.K. Puri talked about keeping pace of development and incentives to be given to the motor vehicle industry. Mr. S.K. Mehta talked about the planning issues, drainage. What has happened in the Indian scenario, the roads are being constructed by the engineers, designed by the engineers, where the planners were not involved. Now today we are going for the planning a space for the bus terminus, planning a space for this. Yes, here the town planners are a must, because now the towns are the major shift of the population. And I would say population is not a burden on us. Population is a beautiful resource for us. We should utilize it to the maximum. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll conclude this session by informing you once again, and as pointed out by the President of Indian Roads Congress, Mr. P.N. Jain, that a resolution has been passed that by IRC that the road for vehicle will now hereafter change to roads for people, safety and services, so that the focus on safety, the focus on the people, the local people will be there in all our future endeavors. Thank you very much.